3 engines, and that takes up a lot of space, but still he has managed to put in a couple.
Oh, and we are seeing the starting hand of Guillem, and he is actually opening Book of Eclipse and evenly matched, and that is a pretty strong combo against Sprite strategies, but Pascal's hand is amazing as well. He is opening with the Leela, and that's not that much you want.
That's all you can ask for, right?
Has he got any Sprite cards to go with it?
I mean, that worst case brings you into your Sprite engine, because you could go into Gigantic with those 2 here if you would like to, but that would somehow rule you out of your Live Twin engine a little bit then. So let's see where he's going, because at the moment he has no access to his Sprite engine just yet. So that's the thing with those decks where you have multiple engines. Sometimes you're only going to draw into one of them or 2 of them, and then you just don't get access to the 3rd, and then you're missing out on a crucial part of it. But there we see the next engine.
And that is more than enough to access all of the engines. You can summon the Hugin, search for the Runick Fountain, and then after that overlay with the Leela to go into a Gigantic, special summon out the blue, the Jet. You are safe from Nibiru, then you can just safely go for something else, and you have access to the Leela Kill engine after that.
Yeah.
Great upside for running Sprite in this event, because Nibiru is a card that a lot of people are thinking about, and if you just have a card which you want to summon, Gigantic Sprite, naturally giving you protection from Nibiru, that's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, and it naturally will be summon number 4 to play around that Nibiru, especially when your opponent let you start, right? When your opponent is going second, you expect him to play cards like Nibiru, and there's no Nibiru in this opening hand, but still it's better to play around the Nibiru here by summoning Gigantic, and it's going to resolve.
And Basti, you said earlier, there's not a lot of space for non-engine cards. However, there's also not a lot of space for engine cards in the extra deck. We are seeing only 1 Gigantic Sprite.
Wow, you're right. I just saw that in the list as well. That is very uncommon, because I saw in modern Sprite builds that people tend to up the numbers of Gigantic Sprites again. They were playing triple Gigantic Sprite, and they don't do that anymore. Ooh, there comes the Jet.
But also there's something pretty interesting in Guillem's hand, because he has the Evenly, which is an incredible breaker of fields, you know, but he doesn't have anything to play with.
Yeah, you couldn't even tell what deck he's bringing, but it is branded, as you can already see on the screen. And I mean, 1 branded fusion for turn can solve a lot of issues there, let's be honest.
And there's 101 ways to get to branded fusion.
Indeed, just Aluba does it as well, for sure.
Which he's also only running 2 of.
Interesting decision there, for sure. I think that's one of the best ways to get to your branded fusion, but let's see. Like, there is triple tactic talents, which is also good, because probably you're just going to use the Book of Eclipse in main phase. Your opponent has no choice really but to negate it with Carrot. That also makes your talents live, so I think we could see a really, really impressive turn by Guillem when he resolves that evenly matched then as well.
Oh, now we're going for IP in the extra monster zone, and I think that now we're going to see the Kill, and then we are going for this incredibly funny combo where you go for Kill, special summon out the Leela, go for Leela, special summon back the Kill, draw, and then go for another Kill.
It is a strange looking combo if you've not seen it before. So obviously you only get the effect of the live twin monsters if they're summoned while you control the other live twin monster.
That's the evil twin monster.
Evil twin.
Yes.
I'm going to get evil twin, live twin, Kill, Leela, yeah. But so you get the 1 draw, and then you set up to special summon to get a card destruction in your opponent's turn.
Does Pascal even have another Runick card? I think it's really... Oh, yeah. No, he does have... Oh, yeah, there's Slumber in his hand. There's Slumbers in his hand, yeah.
That'll let him draw 3 cards, I believe he's activated. Did he discard a Runick for the cost of Hugin earlier in the turn? So there should be 2 in the grave, and then the Slumber.
That would be huge if it would be the draw 3. So, and now we are probably going to see, finally, for Pascal as well, what his opponent is on, because Runick Slumber is making your opponent banish 3. Okay, it's only a draw 2, but still, we have to banish 3 cards there for Guillem. We're already resolving the Runick Fountain, but we haven't even resolved the Runick Slumber yet, because that is necessarily part of the effect to banish 3 cards there for the Runick Slumber.
Hopefully our judge will catch that in a moment. It might actually be a benefit for Guillem, because he gets...
because he's not giving away anything.
Well, no, but getting to banish cards, he could banish Tri-Brigade Mercuria, he could banish the Despian Tragedy.
For sure, yeah. There comes Sunny Snitch now. Okay, I think, yeah, our judges have picked up on it, that Runick Slumber actually is resolving there. Yeah. I mean, Runick Slumber is not in the graveyard anymore, but for sure.
Pascal just checking. No, I didn't use Runick Slumber.
I mean, it's not going to be...
yeah, of course.
But of course, all of the Runick effects, when they are resolving their usual effect, they are going to banish cards. So this is an Ash Blossom, this is another Ash Blossom, and then there's Fusion Deployment. So the last card gives it away here. Pascal now finally knows what he's up against. He does know that Fusion Deployment can only be branded, pretty much.
Or it could be something very, very strange.
Indeed, it could be. Indeed, it could be.
VWXYZ.
If you are the deck master that can build that deck for this tournament, go ahead,
It
my
could
friend.
summon a Gate Guardian
Watch
monster,
me try.
you know, it could summon an ABC.
True. I mean, there could be anything, for sure.
I think if you're Guillem, you're happy to see those banishes because you don't want to see Ash in this situation.
Oh, there's Branded Loss. And I mean, let's be honest, if we can draw into Branded Fusion, that Branded Loss is insanely strong. On the other hand, do we even negate here with Carrot? Because it would be the only card. Yeah, it would be the only card that gets booked.
What you want to do here is, I think, actually... Oh, well, you have the IP to get rid of the Leela on the field, which is just an extra body at this point, but I think you can just...
Oh, he is negating it, though.
Oh, he's negating it.
Okay, to get the Leela into the graveyard,
and then he can on-resolve, immediately tribute it back to get another draw.
I'm interested in that because it does play into Triple Tactics talent.
The thing is, IP is always going to make you play into the Triple Tactic talents, right?
That's true.
You're always going to resolve the IP.
I mean, currently, it would force Guillem to do something else to trigger, you know, to force out the IP.
Oh, but there comes the Call Battle Grave by Guillem.
Oh.
So that will deny the draw 1 there.
Oh, and also, Leela doesn't target. I know he pointed to the Kizikil, but
is there
he can just summon out
there
the...
comes Frost, yeah.
Wouldn't you
Kizikil
rather
Frost.
have? You'd rather have the Frost in the graveyard, though. Well, I suppose
Yes.
you can link it off for IP, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
also you had to summon something.
You have to summon something, yeah. I was wondering if it was an upside or a downside getting to summon the Kizikil Frost.
And now, what do you do first? Do you go for the Triple Tactic talents first, or do you go for Battle Phase and Evenly Matched first?
In my head, I think talents. I don't see a reason to.
Probably, right? That makes you plan your turn a little bit further.
You know, you could use the talents in main phase 1 and then the evenly matched in the
Yeah,
battle phase if you still want to.
I don't know if you need to go for evenly matched because the outcome of the board will be the exact same. So there is no real follow-up in this situation. Except for the IP, and this one will
do you think
come down regardless.
Do you think the fact that Pascal is linking off now means that
we
Guillem
announced
said
the battle phase,
yeah,
for sure. Oh, but look, we were wondering about that. Nightmare Griffin actually is in the extra deck of Pascal and is now also in the first game of his tournament hitting the field. And that's a card we haven't seen that much in Sprite builds, but now it is featured here in his list. And it's pretty interesting because that makes it hard for Guillem to actually use monster effects because he has to get into that extra monster zone there.
Well, fortunately, there is an extra monster zone right above the, the Griffin.
It is, but
generously provided.
Also we resolved it to draw a card. There comes Evenly Matched now in the battle phase, and we set that starter there with the Griffin, so that's another card we have to banish now. Or is it maybe the only card we keep?
What do you keep? Do you keep the Fountain?
Probably, yeah, we have to keep Fountain. You're right, we probably have to keep the Fountain.
There are still cards to be drawn. But there's something that I would call
okay, we're getting rid of the Fountain. I see,
Maybe he values the Griffin's sort of passive effect enough.
I mean, he can't activate Aluba if he special summons it, right?
Exactly.
That's true. But the thing is, if your opponent has Branded Fusion, he can instantly get into the extra monster zone. Oh, and there's Talons, and it's probably... Does he want to take here? I mean, he has no play if he takes.
There's no use for taking it, yeah.
So... do we see Branded Fusion here?
Branded Opening, and that is not the card you want to have.
So that was very heads up by Pascal there.
But I think you could just summon the Fallen of Albus. I think that Griffin only prevents
is it only special summon monsters? Right? If it's only special summon monsters,
yeah. But
then you can also just... Oh no, he specialed the Aluber. He could have searched for Aluber and normally did as well. That works just as well.
Oh yeah, that is actually true. And he could have also gone for Fallen of Albus and take away the Griffin to summon out the Mirror Jade Dragon.
Yep.
But this is not going to work out, yeah.
Now he will have to...
Just being pointed out.
Even discarded the Albus.
This is not looking bright here for Guillem. That plan didn't go as he planned, so it goes back over to Pascal. Pascal just nods his hand while his opponent is setting 2 cards and passing it right over to him. And now Pascal drew a lot of cards in the process of his first turn, so he is well equipped to get back into this game, even though he just got evenly matched for 4 cards.
Do you think the Griffin, maybe Pascal thought the Runick cards didn't draw enough by themselves? He just thought maybe I'll draw even more cards with the co-linked Griffin.
Probably, yeah. He was like, I'm safe because I'm in main phase 2, so all of the cards in my hand are already enough, so maybe the Griffin is just preventing him a little bit more, so I think it was a heads-up play by him. It was pretty smart, not gonna lie.
As long as you've got the second fountain in your deck to search out.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
What I was going to say earlier is that the downside of the deck is that you are going to draw into so many cards that don't really help you with your fountain after your board is already developed. You have a monster on board still, and now you have the Life Twins in the hand. Or he also still has a Sunny Snitch. He had to discard the Kizikil, which was okay then, but this deck gives you a lot of draw power, and as soon as you develop a board...
Oh, we're passing it over! So Pascal just did not have all the cards he needed, apparently. And now there is a chance... No, wait, is there something to special summon with Branded Banishment? I don't think there is, right?
He has Fallen of Albus in the graveyard.
But does Branded Banishment work with Fallen of Albus? No, it's one Despia monster or one level 8 or higher fusion monster, so that does not work for the moment. So that's just another set card being added to the back row of Guillem.
No, you have to banish... Oh, I see. So yeah, you can't use the Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard.
Yep. Oh, but there's Runick tip, I think, for turn for Pascal K. That's a huge pickup for him there.
Yeah.
Would you compare Runick tip to Sky Striker Engage?
It is pretty similar. Not gonna lie, that maybe is the modern days Sky Striker Engage. You're right.
I want to say eventually it lets you draw more cards.
Yeah, I was going to say it does basically draw one because you get the other Runick card, which will then be shuffled back with that itself in the fountain.
Engage into engage into engage just in one card already.
Just for comparison, I'm going to bring the card out. It has to happen.
It's the signature card of Pascal, of course, the card that he won YCS London 2019 with. And now we're going into battle phase. So Pascal, just of course not using any Runick cards before the battle phase because he wants to get rid of that Aluber first. But the thing is, now the Branded Banishment is live as there is Aluber in the graveyard. Pascal is like, yep, that's fine. And what are we even fusion summoning into here? We go with the Aluber and the Nightmare Griffin. That just gives us immediate access to... Is it Albion or Lubellion we're going to summon out here?
They need Fallen of Albus.
You need Fallen of Albus.
Oh, you're right. So it just be
the
Quiritas, right? Probably Quiritas.
I think the Despia extra deck monsters do get points for being the hardest to pronounce.
For sure they do, for sure they do. Yeah, but it is Despia Quiritas and it is being summoned in the extra monster zone. Pascal quickly picks it up again. And I mean, all the Runick cards aren't really known to have like big attack points, so I don't know whether Despia Quiritas is really the card you need versus that deck necessarily.
Does he have? It might be just his only target.
That's the thing, yeah. He only had that option there for that particular moment.
It is mildly annoying to get rid of, right? Because if you destroy it, then your opponent gets to summon a branded monster from the deck.
Fallen of Albus specifically,
is it a Fallen of Albaz monster?
But did he just do that randomly? Like, did he just
you can
activate Banishment at some point? And because now I just see Pascal going for plays.
Yeah, I think just after the Nightmare Griffin ran over the Aluber, he was like, yeah, I now have Aluber in the graveyard, so my Branded Banishment can be activated, and that's what he just did there right away in battle phase.
I can play a card, let me play a card.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get to play that many so far, so that's fair.
The Nightmare Griffin, he didn't like it.
Absolutely not.
After what it did to his Aluber.
Yep, so there comes Runick tip now.
I mean, you can't play Guillem, right? He just wants to participate in this, and I can just fully understand that.
So we are searching for freezing curses. This time we are banishing one card, and it is Fallen of Albus. And honestly, banishing Fallen of Albus versus Branded Despia is so good, because they need that in the deck to resolve Branded Fusion.
I was going to ask, is that his second? Or
I think that's
2 or 3.
He does run 3, and I think that is the correct choice at the moment. At the moment, you gotta play 3 because Kashtira is banishing cards face down from your deck. Runick is banishing cards from your deck as well. So you gotta make sure you are able to resolve Branded Fusion.
And it's not a bad draw by any means. You can just normal summon it and use its effect to threaten your opponent's extra deck monsters.
It's a super poly with legs.
Yeah. Indeed it is.
But your opponent can respond, which makes it significantly less strong.
Legs are normally useful, but in this case, I'm not sure you want the legs.
So there comes another link to summon, and it looks like Pascal actually is struggling to have resources in his extra deck, right?
That can be an issue when you combine multiple different engines that you don't necessarily... You can put them all in your main deck, but you do need the extra deck to support those.
For sure. So
I've been running this deck a lot lately on Without the Runick cards, though, and yes,
it is a problem, right? You can easily run through, because especially like the first turn combo, you're using one or two copies of each of the Evil Twins.
And I mean, this is Evil Twin Physical #2 already, so that's also the last one he has in his extra deck. And that is now followed by the last copy of Evil Twin Lila in his extra deck,
and
so...
there is no access to Gigantic Sprite anymore, so you can't even extend into your Sprite combo and get a Smashers to easily get rid of the monster. Now we have picked up Freezing Curses, which is also not helping you.
Maybe Pascal's just hoping he'll have Runick cards to sort of close out the game in the end, even if he runs
the
out
Runick
of
cards
extra
just
deck monsters.
grind so well, right? They can just work through boards so good because they are just trading 1 for 1 in theory, but then Runick Fountain just makes it an unfair trade because you are drawing cards afterwards.
And you're like gradually banishing your opponent's deck.
This card, however, Evil Twins Trouble Sunny, could really help now, because this one is at 3.3 attack points. Yeah, okay, I can see it coming.
Yep.
This is the second main phase, right?
Yep, it is. So battle phase is not an issue here, but we are going for the Trouble Sunny.
And it's very difficult to attack over the Despian Quietus, right? Because you can use its effect.
The good thing is, I think we already saw Kurikara Divincanate in the hand of Pascal. So as soon as Guillem decides to use the effect of Despian Caritas in his opponent's turn, that Kurikara is going to be live, and then he can just tribute the Caritas, which is kind of nice.
Will that trigger the effect of Caritas? How does Caritas get its effect triggered?
I think
card
it only
effect.
It
has to be a card effect, and this is a tribute, so I guess this would not.
Probably not, no.
I think this,
It's nice to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With the table judge at the table, so they can tell you all of these things.
I want to try something.
So, there's Super Polymerization set for Guillem, and that could be a pretty good card here because both of the monsters on the field are light monsters. So, is there the potential to see Super Poly into Garura here, maybe?
It would be Mudragon.
Oh yeah, Mudragon, you're right. Is he even running the Mudragon, though? Let me check. He's not playing Mudragon, I'm afraid.
Then I don't think we're going to see one.
Probably not. There is Runick Slumber being activated.
And Pascal is reading his own card right now.
I'm interested, why it's targeting the opponent's monster.
Because it can't attack that turn.
Oh, it stops it from attacking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's the Dark Magician. The ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense is being banished here.
Which is actually quite good.
Yeah, it means you don't have to send it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
It helps you. But I don't know whether we're going to see Guillem resolve Branded Fusion that game anymore. Because there are all the Fallen of Albazes being gone. And look, Guillem looked through his extra deck. Is there the Mudragon? And then he realizes, no, I did not put it in. So for this particular situation that he encounters here in his first game, in the first featured match of the day, he's not going to be able to resolve Super Polymerization just there.
Activating it would be beautiful here because obviously the live twin Sunny and Switch has got a Sunny and Snitch.
Sunny Snitch, yeah.
Has got a quick effect, but your opponent wouldn't be able to respond to put it in the graveyard and summon the two live twins back out.
Yeah, and I mean, as we saw, Pascal is struggling to have resources in his extra deck by that point. So if you get rid of that Sunny Snitch here, I think you might even be in a spot where you have multiple turns to draw into your engine again, and that could bring you back into this game.
Also, as soon as the Trouble Sunny tributes itself, there will be a Light and a Dark on the field, so...
Oh, you're right. There is Kizikil and Lila coming back. I mean, it's two light monsters, right? But now you can just... Hey, wait, no, you still don't have it.
Can you summon a Garura with those two, perhaps?
No, it's Light and Dark.
Oh, yeah, true.
Lila
is dark. You're right. You're so right. So that could work here. Yeah, look at that. Super Polymerization. Trying to fusion summon the Caritas with the Lila.
With your own card effect.
Bringing us into... Wait, I thought...
Oh, Draco's Tapelia. That makes a lot more sense.
That works, to be honest. But also, Draco's Tapelia just feels like a card that Freezing Curses could really easily take care of, or also Flashing Fire. Those are really good answers to just the Draco's Tapelia.
It can be very annoying against the Sprite deck, right? Because you can target one of their level 2 monsters, negate its effect, and make it level 1.
Make it level 1. That's a crucial part in that matchup, honestly, yeah.
I think you can activate... Exactly. You can activate the Kizikil now, try to bait out the Draco's Tapelia, try to summon back another monster, And then Pascal K's triple tactic talents in hand would be a really good answer to that, to possibly gain more advantage to win this game.
For sure,
eventually.
for sure.
Oh yeah, we got.
Oh, we drew into another evenly match. Yeah, Pascal K. I think we talked about that in our meta-analysis before the event as well. We think that evenly match probably
Spoiler
is one
alert.
of the... Yeah, I'm so sorry, but I mean, it's an obvious fact that I have to mention here. I think evenly match is probably one of the strongest cards right now in the format, and that's why I'm absolutely not surprised by Pascal K running triple of it in his main deck.
Well, according to some preliminary data that Luke was showing me yesterday, evenly matched, the second most popular card at this event. After, I'm sure you can guess,
Ash Blossom,
Ash
probably.
Blossom and
Yeah,
Joy
that would
Spring.
have been
Yeah,
my
we've
guess,
already
yeah.
seen 2 copies of that this game as well. So
Absolutely. But we can see a little bit of a downside to the Runick engine at the moment, because we all know when you use the Runick card, you're not going to have your next battle phase. And this game number 1 is already going on for 20 minutes. You are struggling to close out games because you're missing the most crucial part of your turn that actually helps you end games, because you're not having a battle phase. You're not able to battle with your monsters, and you're not able to force life point damage to your opponent, and therefore you are really not closing out the game. Oh, there comes Branded opening to protect the Dracostapelia. And that means we're also not going to banish cards from our opponent's deck, but we can still resolve Runick Fountain, of course.
the Runick cards, they're very grindy, aren't they? And that you kind of hope at some point when you have 6 cards that your opponent will just say, pack it in.
Yep. You kind of rely on that, to be honest.
Because if your opponent says, no, you got to finish this game, then it can take quite a while to do that.
Pascal can still get rid of the Dracostapelia this turn, by the way, because he has the Trouble Sunny in the graveyard that can just banish itself and then send one of the Evil Twins from the field or from the deck. And I don't think he's playing a deck one. But you can send one of the Evil Twins from the field to the graveyard and then non-targeting send a card that Guillem is controlling to the graveyard.
And it's nice. It's actually, most of the time, you don't really want to send monsters from your field to the graveyard, but sending one of the Evil Twins can let you just summon it back again and get its effect again in your opponent's turn.
Oh, we're going for... Oh yeah, I was about to say, there's no Gigantic left in the extra deck. Oh, Unchained Abomination is coming in here. That's another Link 4 that Pascal K has decided to play. So 2 not super popular Link 4s being played here by Pascal K. The Nightmare Griffin and also the Unchained Abomination we see right here.
But this one I think is really, really strong with the Runick engine, because you have the Flashing Fire and that's basically a pop 2 then.
Yeah.
Yep, and you can combine it with your Evil Twins as well. It just gives you an extra pop. Well, once per turn you get an extra pop every time you pop something.
Also, the Life Twins, or the Evil Twins rather, lock you into summoning Fiends from the extra deck, and fortunately Unchained Abomination is a pretty strong Fiend.
Yeah. You think Pascal, he just realized it now? He was like, aha!
I mean, he was going through his extra deck for like a couple of times.
That is a
this
is great.
Let's do that, yeah. And he has Bright Blue in his hand there, but even before summoning the Abomination, there was no chance to summon out the blue, because blue needs a level or rank 2 and not a link 2. So in that scenario, that wasn't working. Oh, we are negating Dracostapelia here with Freezing Curses. And we are banishing
not
free
so
as well.
interested in negating it, but just activating a Runick card.
Wait, isn't...
I think maybe the Unchained Abomination was destroying it in the end phase. Maybe that was... Maybe he chained that to the Unchained Abomination.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and Guillem picks up Super Polymerization for turn, but that's his only card in hand. And we all know it has a cost. It has to discard 1 card, so this card is not doing anything here. And it's going back over to Pascal.
But he's not going down.
Yeah, and he can use this in either end phase. It just says during the end phase. I want to show you guys again so you can read it as well. So that's an easy pop here. And now we actually do have a battle phase, I think.
No,
he used it in the end phase, right? He used the Freezing Curses in the end phase, so we're just going to wait.
I mean, our opponent is top decking here. We can always destroy the 1 card that he's bringing to the field with Abomination, so I think Pascal is in a pretty decent situation here. And the top deck for Guillem is not one that he necessarily wants to see. It is the Tri-Brigade Mercuria, which he sets, and I mean, this card can also be destroyed. Yep. So maybe it would have been better to just keep that card in hand in case you get another turn to work with it. And look, he has a playset in his hand now. Pascal K drew all 3 of his evenly matched, and I don't know whether he wants it here.
How many talents are going on there as well?
Oh yeah, there's also 2 talents, yep.
But I think he's only running 2, so that might be the entirety in his deck. So now I think Guillem still has some turns, because there are no monsters being drawn by Pascal K. He just has 3,000 attack points on board, and that is an Aluba.
Aluba is an excellent draw here if your opponent doesn't have freezing curses?
Oh, it only works on special summoned monsters, I think.
Oh, okay.
No,
Or
it doesn't.
is that the flashing
Oh, that's
fire?
the flashing fire,
fire,
yeah.
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 So freezing curses on Aluber, and once more Guillem is looking for his graveyard. There is nothing protecting that. We are banishing 3 cards, of course, for the freezing curses. And there's, I think, the first branded fusion we see here in this game being banished there.
It is one of the downsides of some of the Runick cards is that you can't activate them unless your opponent has a monster or you have a clear extra monster zone.
Sometimes with Runick, the best approach to play is just not to play. Just don't give them any cards on your board
exactly.
to activate their Runick cards. And look, there's when they draw Runick Tip, though, they are usually fine because Runick Tip can always be activated. Fetching another Runick card from your deck is always going to be possible.
And I think you're going to try to activate the Runick Tip as soon as possible to find something. You don't want... I mean, you really want to activate something before the next battle phase. And maybe you're also trying to find a monster at some point because you want to use the Sprite Blue from your hand.
Yeah.
But with only Kurikaras, Evenlies, and triple tactic talents, that's not just going to happen.
Look, we're just going to set another card.
Got much left to search with the Sprite Blue?
Well, maybe a jet.
I mean, Sprite Red would be something
he
we could
hasn't
search
used
for.
Sprite Red. Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's crazy. He basically drew all of his non-engine here. Did he set all 3 of his evenly matched? Because I don't see any trap card left in his hand. So all of his free background cards there are evenly matched, which is quite ironic and iconic.
The talent, and he has to set one card as well. Of course, leave open one of these spell traps.
Fusion deployment for
Fusion
Germans.
deployment.
Yep.
Better eyes than me.
Fusion Deployment actually has quite the interesting target. Not in this deck, though, but I still want to showcase it to our viewers who are not that familiar with the branded deck. You can actually, people usually side deck it.
Yeah.
Play the Neo Elemental Hero Aquaneos. 16 and a half more minutes on the clock. Pascal is going to think that... Oh, wait, he has both. Actually, he has a Nibiru and he has a trap card that he was siding in.
Oh yeah, now
organism.
you can see it as well. There is the grave of the super ancient organism. So Pascal just wasn't sure, is he going to let me start or not? And honestly, even going second, this card is pretty decent.
I really don't dislike the card going second as well. It's weird deciding continuous trap cards going second.
The only problem and issue I have is trap cards that you have to set when going second versus Despia. They could usually be a victim of the Guardian Chimera that is just being summoned in end phase and that is just going to destroy your back row. Oh, but looks like he made Pascal start again. Look at that. That means that Grave of the Super Ancient Organism is going to be live.
It's going to be incredible. He's got the crossout designator, but I very much doubt that he has...
But the one-up Harpius Faberduster is being drawn for turn there. That is insane.
That's devastating.
That's the only back row removal that Guillem's deck is featuring.
We were discussing this before the round started, right? We thought, what outs does Guillem have to suit Grave of the Super Ancient Organism? And we were like, he's got the one Feather Duster.
He's not even... said it with a tone. He was like, he has the one Feather Duster.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to draw it, but just casually he picked it up there for turn. And he got rid of the Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, which honestly is designed to be sided in with Kashtira, because this is expected to be the most popular deck at the moment, but it's so good versus Branded as well, because Branded does not really have a way around it. Kashtira can go into their exceeds, but Branded, after you resolve your Branded Fusion, you are pretty much left with only your fusions.
So Guillem's got everything he could ask for here now, right? He's got the crossout designator to protect from Ash. If your opponent's got another hand trap, he's got the Triple Tactics talent, he's got the Branded Fusion.
The most important question here is, because we have seen the Nibiru in Pascal's hand, does he have a Nibiru to cross out it?
That's the thing. He is side-decking 2 copies of Nibiru, so it will depend on whether he put in that 1 copy of Nibiru, and he's looking for his deck there. Okay, he found the... Oh, that is also something that you don't really see that often anymore from Branded players, but he is using the Light Hack Sealed Fusion there together with the Fallen of Albas for his Branded Fusion. To go into...
Albion.
Presumably Albion.
Probably Albion, yeah. There he is.
And then Albion confused with itself and the Hex.
The good thing about Albion, though, is like Albion can still attack. So I think you are probably just going to try to put up 8,000 points of damage here, right?
Yeah.
So I would probably try to keep the Albion on board here. Because that's like the main difference between Lubellion and Albion. Albion will still be able to attack even though it's used as a fact, and Lubellion can't. And right here, you are going second versus not a whole lot on the side of Pascal. So maybe you're just trying to close that out as quickly as possible. But there is Bestial Magnamut on the side of Pascal. We were discussing it. There is actually That's also a pretty big difference.
However,
the tactics talents, right? That's just going to make it easier for Guillem to end the game this turn.
True. And he has branded in red as well, but he can't target the Hex Sealed Fusion here. We're going to use the branded in red anyways.
Was the
I'm pretty sure the Hex Sealed
targeting
Fusion.
the Hex or the Albaz?
It was targeting the Hex, I'm pretty sure. Here comes Lubellion. Well, that still lets Magnamut get to the field, but it...
Very heads-up play summoning it in defense mode.
That's what I was about to say, for sure.
It's very counterintuitive. Your monster's got 2,500 attack, but yeah, putting it in defense to stop yourself from being hit on the first turn by Tactics Talents.
For sure, that was really, really good.
But the beauty of Tactics Talents is even if you can't win the game this turn, it's got 2 other very powerful effects.
For sure. You may as well look into your opponent's hand after he did nothing basically in turn 1, and then you could look into his hand and see that Nibiru, which is really, really frightening.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we just go for that.
How many summons are we
Yeah,
on?
that's what I was thinking. I was like, did Branded often do 5 summons on the first turn?
Yeah, they usually do. There are some routes where you don't have to do it, but usually they do. Oh, he's using Lubellion and Albion together to go into... What is he even summoning with that? Look, he's not sure himself. He's looking for his extra deck. So he's bringing out Dracostapelia here.
And this will prevent you from using the Lubellion, unfortunately, as well. Because it's banished by the time it's no longer on the field, so you can't activate it.
He probably had no other way to resolve the Albion anymore, right?
Yeah, you have to resolve the Albion if you've activated it, of course, yeah.
So that's pretty unfortunate for him, because it looked really good, but all his Branded Fusion did there, together with the Branded in red that he also chained, was producing a Dracostapelia, which is honestly not that big of a threat.
All it needed was 1 Magnamut.
Yeah, indeed. That shows you the power of the Bestial still. And we are going for the draw 2 here.
And I'm not sure if the draw 2 is the correct approach here, because at this point you have used your Branded Fusion, you have used the most powerful cards in your deck. Maybe it's time to look at the opposing hand and say, hey, maybe you can't play either, so I can win this in the long run.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a sensible approach. Once you've seen your opponent just pass the first turn.
What are you going to draw into, right? Because you are going second, you have a lot of blowout cards on your opponent's board, but you don't have really any trap cards or something.
You use your follow-up. You used the Branded in red as well already. Yeah. There's nothing in the deck anymore.
But there is Branded opening that he picked up for that draw. Discarding. Oh, he discards Ash Blossom. That's also quite bold here of Guillem, because that would be a card that really helps versus opponent's top decks there.
Oh,
Special summoning out the Fallen of Albaz.
Is that?
That is not legal.
That's what I was about to say, yeah. It is Branded opening for a reason, and Fallen of Albaz is a lot of cards, or a lot of other cards are considered to be Fallen of Albaz, but Fallen of Albaz is not considered to be a branded card by any means.
You do have to question yourself slightly when it comes to this branded deck, because some cards add branded cards, some cards add Despia cards, some cards add a card that mentions Fallen of Albaz.
They like to mix it up for sure, but now we're summoning out Elliptium, and I mean, Elliptium has an on-field effect, which can increase the attack points here of Dracostapelia, but Dracostapelia would have been big enough to run over the Magnamut anyhow, so that's not really something that helps him too much here.
We're setting a card, and please tell me that you're attacking with the Dracostapelia over the Magnamut as well. Because I don't think that he entered the battle phase already.
No, but I mean, we for sure now, with that special summon of Elliptium, are over 5 summons, so that Nibiru would also be live. But I mean, why would you even do that before? Because now you're just going to do it in main phase 2, and you're tributing only the opponent's monsters. So that's even better, because your opponent is going to have a less stronger Nibiru token there.
And I mean, you're getting rid of the Dracostapelia, right? Because that one, with the few cards that Pascal has, it's pretty huge.
For sure, you're definitely going to use the Nibiru here.
Interested by the set in main phase 1.
True.
It might be from playing too much speed duel.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking, because he did that. I was like, maybe he's not attacking.
I agree, yeah, that was why you were like, maybe he just won't use his battle phase because he's setting now, but...
I mean, maybe in this situation it's even a smart play, because you make your opponent think that you're not going to use your battle phase, and then Pascal maybe is using the Nibiru in main phase 1 already, because you could just also go into your end phase straight from main phase 1. So setting the card there might be the correct play, to be honest.
Here comes the Nibiru.
I'm really happy about the Nibiru, to be honest, because you are going to search for a Bestial, and there's nothing in the opponent's graveyard so far. I mean, you could use your own Magnamu, to be fair.
Yeah, you don't really have much use for it.
For sure, for sure. So we are summoning the token defense position. And we are going to get another dragon in the end phase. And I think the only dragons he is playing are the Bystials. So we are going to search straight for Bystial Druid Swarm, I would assume.
Is the token bigger than the Nibiru?
Yeah.
In terms of defense point, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
defense points is what I
Elyptium
was-
has 2k defense, and our good old Drixopelia has 1.9. So yeah,
just
it is
about,
bigger.
900 bigger. It's interesting because you always you know the sort of relevant stat of all of
For
the monsters,
sure.
but then when you're asked what's the defense points of Ad Libitum, which is a monster that's very rarely in play.
Absolutely. And I mean, it definitely comes down to battle stats here, quite certainly, because we are getting closer to timeout, so this game has to be decided in the next 7.5 minutes. And therefore, Pascal definitely has to worry about getting ahead here in life points if he wants to win this match.
So that Druis Worm will provide an answer to the token.
For sure it does.
If you just...
And you can
somehow
also...
get it in the graveyard.
Oh, that was huge, the fountain draw.
Oh yeah, because you already have Runick spell cards in your hand, so you will be getting ahead here pretty decently.
Can you afford to be using Runick cards now with so close to the timeout?
That's a good point, though, yeah. I mean, you probably just work for your opponent's board here this turn and then try to go for it next turn. That would be my thinking there.
You can try to find the troubles and the Sunny Snitch. And then if you have a life or evil twin monster on the field, every time your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you gain 200 life points and your opponent loses 200.
So that is Flashing Fire being activated to special summon. Or is it? Yeah.
It looks like it's special summoning a Hugin.
Yep, that is Hugin. I mean, worst case, you could also always go for Moonin, which could provide you with some life
Oh,
points.
he does
at
have
the
that
end
in
phase.
his side deck, so chances are he sided it in.
Yep. Wait,
Not
no.
mistaken. No, he
No,
doesn't.
there isn't.
Okay, he can't go.
Oh, he plays it in the,
Oh,
in
he
the
just
extra
plays
deck
it as-
already, yeah.
Oh wow, that's a very tight extra deck then.
For sure. I mean, he decided to only run one gigantic sprite, so he definitely cut down on some crucial cards there.
We are drawing into the Runick tip as
Oh,
well.
what a great draw there. Because now we can also carry on to go to the back row, right? We can just search for Runick Destruction, so we can take apart the opponent's board step by step. If we want to, we could also go for Flashing Fire, because I think the card he activated at first was it Freezing Curses or was it Flashing Fire?
It was Freezing Curses.
Yeah, I think it was Freezing Curses, and now he could search for Flashing Fire to get rid of the token if he wants to.
Does he already have a Flashing Fire in his hand there?
That could also be the case, yeah.
He's playing hard to get now with his hand face down.
But he decides to not do anything further here. Pass it back over to his opponent.
The branded in red is still set on the field. Does it actually do anything? We have the Ad Libitum in the graveyard, but I don't think that there is anything else. I mean, now we have the Cartesia on board,
So the
right?
Cartesia, the Nibiru token again is light, I'm assuming?
It should be, yeah. I'm pretty sure it is light. But there comes Runick Tip on the summon of Cartesia. But now that Cartesia is on the field, it has a quick effect, so you could always just respond here.
Yep, and it also, you can use the branded in red to add back the Ad Libitum and then fuse off the Cartesia as well.
Yeah, that works. And there is no response to the effect of Cartesia. The thing is, whatever you're summoning out here with the effect of Cartesia then can be targeted by the spell card that we are about to search. Here comes one of the cards from Photon Hypernova, the latest main set to be released. It is Grand Guignol.
That was top-notch pronunciation.
I mean, he's playing it just because he's French, I'm assuming, because that name really does sound French to me. But yeah, it looks like it's even the Starlight Rare copy. It looks really decent there.
Oh, it's a lovely card.
Yeah,
Lets
for
you
sure.
send a light or dark monster from anywhere,
Yeah, extra deck or
anywhere
main
in the
deck.
world. One time they'll bring out a card that lets you send it from your side deck as well as your extra deck and main deck, but not quite today.
Yeah, the only requirement is that it has to be a level 6 or higher, yeah. But, I mean, there are plenty to choose from. There's the obvious answer, I'll be on the extra deck.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's also like a Bestial Lubellion from the main deck that can be a good send as well. But, yeah, here I think we're just going for the Albion. Yeah, he's already grabbing his extra deck there. But is it even resolving? That's the question here.
It's got to resolve, right?
I mean, we search first with tip, right?
Oh, yes.
So
Okay,
we would already have an
no.
answer for that, but we have to banish a card as well. But that probably is the Branded Fusion that is right there on top of the banished pile. Also, like, the thing is, Pascal doesn't necessarily have to deal damage here, because he is 1 game ahead. So as long as he doesn't take damage here in this game, he's going to win the match.
That is absolutely correct. And the freezing curses are going to be activated here on the Guillem.
Absolutely.
He's struggling.
And
I haven't tried to say the name yet.
Contrarian to his big brother, the Mirror Jade, it does not send for cost.
Was that Banish of Despian Tragedy?
It looks like it
That's
is.
very
and also
useful.
Mercuria. I think I saw Mercuria for sure. So if he even banished both of those, that could be a really, really good banish
Because
for
he
him.
might be able to just sneak a few hundred damage in, and with only a couple of minutes left, because you can summon the Guardian Chimera with branded in red.
Yeah, true. Oh, look, it was a Despian Tragedy indeed, searching for that ultimate rare R-Looper.
These are some very shiny cards.
For
from
real,
Duel.
yeah.
He knew he was going to be featured.
For
He thought,
sure,
I'd best
yeah.
get the shiny ones.
And we have also seen Pascal draw into the Kizikil Frost, a card that does nothing for him. So those draws with Runick Fountain really not putting in the work right here.
So, what is he going to do? That crossout designator so
Yeah.
far has not really put in the work. Let's be honest.
Crossout Designator does have a very specific purpose, though, I would say, in this deck, to negate the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring.
Which, crazily enough, Pascal K is not even playing at all.
He didn't get the memo that it was the most popular
Yeah.
card this weekend, and that he should be playing it, everyone should be playing it, and
But maybe that bold decision of not playing it is going to bring him the victory this weekend.
well, if your opponent's got the dead Crossout Designator, then it
Every time.
every time. Has he got 2 Crossout Designators now?
Yes.
Yeah, one is set, one is in hand.
So he's entered the battle phase, so maybe he's going to use the branded in red in his battle phase, perhaps?
That sounds about right, to be honest. Oh, he's not.
We just
No.
set a card, and now this is really close to a time situation. And Pascal will actually just have a turn with all of the Runick cards in hand, basically. So he is going to draw some cards. Okay, so we are going to
I think
probably
first of all,
activate Destruction in end phase.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. That gives me Mystical Space Typhoon in end phase vibes.
Yep, and also banishing 4 cards from your opponent's deck. Let's see what they are. Oh. Oh yeah,
Hugin.
Hugin is
Yeah.
mandatory to activate in the graveyard. It has to go back to the extra deck, that's true. But it's nothing you can choose. There comes the Destruction on the newly set card, which is just another crossout designator. Banishing 4 cards. There's Dark Ruler, Called by the Grave, Talons, and Expulsion. Interestingly enough, he even sided in Expulsion going second.
Yeah. I mean, against a deck that doesn't really OTK, you just want to have as many resources as you can possibly have, right?
Yeah, probably.
You don't have to use it exclusively to summon the Gimmick
No.
Puppet. If you tribute summon a branded monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz, then you can summon 2 monsters to your own field.
Yeah, that works
Just
very well.
another handy target for Albion.
So,
Normal summon Kizikil Frost.
yeah, but he did draw into the good old Sprite Blue for turn,
Yeah.
so any level 2 monster on board will do it for him to get his Sprite engine going here.
One of my favorite engines in the game. I just love these little lightning thunder.
Yeah, very, really, really cool. And the main target for Blue usually is going to be Sprite Jet.
I'm in love with Sprite Blue's jacket.
I know.
Maybe we'll get you one for the next YCS.
Thank you. I'll
I
take
would
that as a
put it-
promise.
But there's Sprite Carrot being searched here, actually.
I quite like that, to be honest. You can just go into... Well, I'm not sure if I like that, to be honest.
But there comes the branded in red. Oh, but there is another Bestial. We knew about that Bestial. There's Bestial Jerusalem on the targeted card.
But I mean, perhaps you don't want to search the Jet in this situation because the usual target for the Jet is the starter, but you definitely don't want to activate starter when there's only 10 seconds left
Yeah, that's
in the
actually true.
game and you're on equal life points to your opponent.
You have Smashers as well. And at this point...
So there is the announcement. The timeout has been announced. There is no difference in life points currently in this game, and that means that game number 2 is going to end in a draw, meaning the whole match, as Pascal won game number 1, is going to end in a victory for Pascal.
So we're still seeing Icaritas on board just to make sure that Guillem does not take any damage at all in a turn where there is no battle phase, and the turn will end immediately after this. But maybe something else could happen. Maybe Guillem has a last trick on his sleeve, but no, we are having a handshake, and Pascal is...